In this example, I need to find the distance between the points 5, -3 and -1, -6. Then I need to find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment between these points. Well, to find the distance and the midpoint, I'm going to need a couple of formulas, and here they are. So given 2 points with the coordinates x sub 1, y sub 1, and the second point x sub 2 and y sub 2, here is the distance formula, here is the midpoint formula. So the first thing I need to do is identify the values of these variables. It doesn't matter if I call the first point point 1 or the second point point 1, I will get the same answer. I normally just take the first point, say this is point 1, so it's going to have these coordinates of x sub 1 and y sub 1, and the second point has the coordinates x sub 2 and y sub 2. And now all I have to do is plug these values into both of these formulas. So the distance d between these 2 points equals the square root of the quantity x sub 2, which is -1, minus x sub 1, which is 5. That quantity is all squared, plus the quantity y sub 2, which is -6, minus y sub 1, which is -3, that whole quantity is squared. Now all I have to do is simplify. So I have the square root of -1 minus 5 is -6 all squared, plus, now in the second parentheses, -6 minus a -3 minus a negative, add the opposite. So I'm going to get -6 plus 3 all squared. So -6 plus 3 is -3 all squared. Simplifying, -6 all squared, -6 times -6 is positive 36. Plus -3 all squared is positive 9. So I have the square root of 36 plus 9 is 45. Can I simplify that? Yes. Remember, 45, if I want to factor it, one of the factors being a perfect square, it is 9 times 5. So I'm going to get the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. So the distance between these 2 points is the square root of 9 is 3 times the square root of 5. So the exact value for the distance between these points is 3 times the square root of 5. And if you need a decimal approximation, plugging that into the calculator, I got 6.7082 rounded to 4 decimal places. Next, I need to find the midpoint between these points. So the answer is going to be an ordered pair, x sub m, y sub m. And to find the x coordinate, I just average the x values. So it's going to be x sub 1, which is 5, plus x sub 2, which is a -1. Add those together, divided by 2. Then do the same for the y's, average the y values. So y sub 1 is -3, plus y sub 2 is -6, and those are divided by 2. So simplifying, I get 5 plus a -1 is 4, so 4 divided by 2, and -3 plus a -6 is -9 divided by 2. So the coordinates of my midpoint are 4 divided by 2 is 2. The x-coordinate is 2. The y-coordinate we can't simplify, so we'd leave it as -9/2. So those are the coordinates of the midpoint. And if we needed to graph this point, remember we'd write this as 2, -4.5.